Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Angela at beginninggenealogist.com. Today I want to talk about the basics, well, not necessarily the steps as yet, but give you a basic overview into researching Native American ancestry. There are several questions I'm going to answer in this video. Number one, can Native American ancestry really be traced? Number two, are there records? Are these records hard to find? Where are the records located and what are the resources? And are there limitations to this process? First, can Native American ancestry be traced? Absolutely. But the issue is that many people think that it's something that's hard to do. It's not any harder than anything else that you research. You must have a research strategy, you must have a plan, and you must understand what the records are. And again, the records themselves, this is sometimes a surprise, and I get this question all the time. Well, gee, where am I going to find these records? Where am I going to go and find these rolls to look at? First of all, the records are there, and this is the surprise. The records are the same records that you use right now as a beginning genealogist. You're hopefully utilizing vital records, birth, marriage, and death. You are utilizing the federal census. You're beginning in 1930, 1920, 1910, 1900, and going back in time. Well, this is oftentimes a surprise because many people will say, well, you know, they didn't take a census of Indian people in the 1900s. Yes, they did. And this is oftentimes a surprise. And, well, my ancestors decided to pass under another identity because they lived such painful lives if they would remain as an Indian in the community. Well, sometimes that's not really accurate. There are many Indian communities that are intact, and I'm not just talking about places in the Plains states, but there are many people who are alive and well living within an Indian community in the Carolinas, in Virginia, in Mississippi, in parts of the Midwest, in parts of the Northeast. There are communities that are still intact today and have never stopped being what they are. So sometimes people think that there's a challenge because people suddenly went underground. There are records to be found. You're already using those records, and it's very important. Now, there may be true that someone decided, as it happens in many cases, there are individuals who their ancestry was African American, and at some point they moved away, and maybe because of identity and appearance, they've decided to take on a different type of ethnic identity. That can happen, but you do not find entire communities of Indian people doing this any more than you found entire communities of African American people doing this either. So you don't want to start out your research with certain assumptions. The strategy is to use standard genealogical methodology. You're going to find your ancestors. There is a trail and they can be documented. Are the records hard to find? No. The records exist, and as I said, they're the same records that you use right now, but outline your strategy and you will be able to go. And also keep in mind you want to go step by step. Oftentimes a step is missed. Someone may say, well, I don't need to get my grandfather's death certificate. I have him documented in the census. I know who his parents were and I want to keep going further back in time. However, you do want to get your grandfather's death certificate. Again, you want all pieces of data on all of your ancestors that can be found. Leave no stone unturned. This is very, very important, and you want to do that. Sometimes the informant, just who the informant was, can give you some important information. And furthermore, if you have an ancestor who died in 1940 or so, or maybe died in a year before you were born, and you live in a different state, the death certificate also provides useful burial site information. So you still want to get those documents as well. And then where can you find these resources? Well, since you're using the same records, you're going to go to the same places to find them. Wherever you find census records now is where you're going to find census records that reflect Indian populations and individuals even so. And many times looking at census records, they're three types of communities you're going to find people of Native ancestry documented. You're going to find them in Indian communities, in the general population, which I would call a mixed community, and then you're going to find them in blended families, in mixed families, where a family is documented in the general population on the general census schedule, but the household itself is blended, and you see different ethnic background that would appear on individuals in the same household. And that does happen, and you do see those. I will say a word about the census records. You will find individuals certainly identified as being of Native American ancestry in 1930. You will find them in 1920. 1910 and 1900 years are particularly significant, particularly because there was conducted by the U.S. government a special Indian census, and this was conducted exactly at the same time of the federal census. You will find it oftentimes, and this sort of answers the question if they're hard to find. If you've gone through a family, you found them in 1930, 1920, but can't seem to find them in 1910. You go through the county where you know that they live, line by line, you go through. Well, when you get to that last page where it says this is the end of the enumeration of such and such county, as opposed to going back and looking again, if you've already done it at least twice, continue to scroll in the microfilm. The special Indian census usually begins after the general population census has been completed. And there you will oftentimes find individuals that you're looking for. Also, another place to find the records, and again, it makes the search to an extent a bit easier, is to look at your online researches, your online resources. I'm referring to Ancestry.com, great place to find information, Heritage Quest, Family Search. Take advantage of those resources if you have them, if you have a subscription to a resource such as Ancestry. If you live near a genealogy library, well, that library has an Ancestry subscription, so you can utilize that as well. So basically, I'm simply saying that the records are there and they can be found. You'll notice that I did not mention individuals on certain tribal records such as Dawes records, Guion Miller Rose from the Eastern Cherokee, or Mississippi Choctaw records. Those I will address in a separate video. And I will simply say that right now, for you as a beginner, utilize those beginning resources that you're already using right now, and you're going to be surprised what you're going to be able to find. This is an overview for you, and let's get started now researching this part of your history. Take care. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.